I had my son way too young with my then boyfriend. We split up when he moved away for college and became an absent father even when he returned for the summers. He became more active when he moved back after graduating and we started doing 50-50 custody. I was 24 then and went to community college and got into sonography school, and now I'm an obstetric sonographer. During that time it came out that my ex had never graduated and was in enormous debt from gambling during his time away. It explained why, with a full-ride scholarship and a degree in a high-paying field, he was working at the mall. Once I got a job, I was able to upgrade my standard of living and provide a better life for me and my son. He's now nearly adult and entering senior year soon, and I want to get him a lovely gift to celebrate his birthday this summer. I asked him earlier this year when we talked about cars what car he would want, and he said a 2023 Camry. While we're financially well off and don't struggle, I know he thinks buying a car is out of our budget, so he didn't suspect a thing. Here's the issue. I was speaking to my ex's sister, whom I'm semi-close with, and I brought up the idea to her. She seemed excited but then said I shouldn't. She said it makes her brother look bad since he doesn't have a car, and it would crush him to know that his son has a brand new paid-off car while he barely scrapes by. I told her that's not my issue and that it was not my fault he didn't have his life together. He's 33 years old and still lives at home, doesn't have a car, and constantly switches retail jobs after spending weeks stretching out and watching orientation videos as long as he can. My son told me he recently spent almost 2 months watching Home Depot orientation videos and then quitting the first week on the floor. He doesn't want to work hard, so why should I feel bad? After a few days, she calls me and says she has an amazing compromise. She told my ex that I plan to buy a special gift for my son this summer and asked if he was willing to pitch in. He offered $80 and she's going to add another $80 to a total of $160. Then we could tell our son we bought it together and he feels like his dad pitched in. This is for a $34,000 car. I told her no thanks, I have it covered, and she got upset and said this could bring my son closer to his father since they don't have much of a relationship and to not be a selfish idiot. Ever since I said no, she called me twice, calling me an idiot and saying I should either let him chip in or not buy it at all. Am I the idiot? Ha ha ha, is she kidding? Not the idiot. So she doesn't want her brother to feel bad that his son has a car and he doesn't. OMG, they need to grow up. He does not work to improve his life, it sounds like, and that is not for you or your son to feel bad about. And now they want to chip in a couple of hundred on a $34,000 car to try and make it sound like they bought it too? Please, your son is smart enough. He would see through that anyway. Also, if he isn't close to his son, that sounds like it's on him as well. Good for you for working hard to give him a good life. You don't owe them anything. Yeah, $160. How generous of them. Has this man even paid child support all these years? Oh, he was just busy gambling. Dad can suck it up and reap what he's sown. His sister is crossing a major line, thinking that $160 is enough. If it was a difference or even a grand or two, I'd maybe entertain it. But what they're proposing is insulting to the work you've put in. LMFAO, $80. We got a big spender for an ex. The gift that you worked hard for, not ex, not his sister. It's your moment with your son. If dad and sister-in-law want a moment, well, they can work for it, as you did. I say again, your son is a smart kid. He sees your ex slacking. He's not going to believe for a minute your ex significantly contributed to the car. Here's the other thing. Say your son believes ex paid for half. The ex could turn around and guilt the son into lending him the car because he sacrificed so much to help pay for it. Go with the truth. It's the best option in the long run. Congratulations on your son's graduation. If you tell your ex to buy some fuzzy dice or whatever, but remind your ex that these are a prop and he can't gamble with them. I, 42 male, am a registered nurse. My wife, 41, and I have a daughter who's pre-tween and had a birthday today, and we decided to throw a party for her. Despite my working full-time at a hospital and part-time at an aesthetics clinic, our finances are such that we're always late on the mortgage because of our other expenses. My wife has a career as an equestrian, and her expenses for that career are around $38,000 a year. Add that to our house in a gated community close to the stables where they keep my wife's horse and our student loans, shopping, golf, etc., we're always behind on our mortgage. So I was shocked to find out that the day after we were denied a very small loan as well as a credit card that caters to people with bad credit. My wife paid an extra $550 for a better party photographer. We couldn't get the deposit for the other one back. In the days leading up to the party, I was losing sleep over our finances. Pulling doubles has become my norm, but I'm usually off Saturdays. However, I have a reputation as the one who will pick up any shift on short notice, so much so that my co-workers resent me because management asks why they cannot be like me. So a co-worker got sick last minute and I was told Friday night that they needed somebody for all of Saturday, offering a 12-hour shift. I knew my daughter's party was today, but I knew I'd have to spend the whole party sweating about the fact that we couldn't pay our mortgage. So I decided to pick up that shift. When my wife found out I was going to work at 7 a.m. and not going to be home until evening, she was furious and accused me of being a bad father. She hasn't talked to me since. Am I the idiot for trying to pay bills? Food, $200. Data, $150. Rent, $800. Horses, $38,000. Utility, $150. OMG, someone who is good at the economy, please help me budget this. My family is dying. In all seriousness, if you're so stressed about finances that you must miss your daughter's birthday for the entire day, you should reevaluate your spending habits. You are the idiot. Love drill LOL. But I think I'd say everyone's the idiot here. OP and his wife need to sit down and come up with a more feasible budget for the family. It's not fair that OP has to do all this extra work as his wife wants to things in. And dude, this kid would rather have her dad than a $500 plus photographer. And who has a photographer for a kid's party? Is that a thing? Indeed, for celebrities and whatnot, but us normies? No, seriously, OP and his wife need to make a proper budget and quickly. Their poor kid. Well, you see, Mom's Instagram followers deserve the best photos. And how much do we bet his wife is actually angrier about having to host the party alone or losing face and using the bad father to blame and guilt him? Opie, you have to shut down this crap. She's taking horrible advantage of you. She's killing you and robbing you of time with your kids. Enough. This is so stupid. My girlfriend thinks I'm an idiot, so I want some second opinions. We're both quite serious tea drinkers, being from the UK, at least 3 cups a day each. I have mine with 1 spoon of sugar. She has no sugar. We've been dating for a year now. In the first month of dating, things were great and she made my tea properly. Then she slowly started to forget and made us both cups with no sugar. I gently reminded her that I like it with 1 sugar, but she wouldn't remember and kept making me non-sweet tea. So I decided just to make both our teas going forward throughout the day to save the hassle. However, lately, I've been tired of having to make all this tea, and I asked her if she could make me a cup once in a while. I don't think it's fair that I make her nice teas and she can't return the favour. Today, she made me tea with no sugar once again, and I got fed up and asked her why she doesn't add sugar to mine. It feels deliberate, to which she told me she forgets, and that's just how she does it, and I can add my own sugar after. So I said that wasn't the point, and moving forward until she can make my tea nicely and take my taste into account, I will no longer be making her tea. I remember her little dietary quirks, and it just feels off that she won't remember this for me. She says it's stupid of me to go on strike about making her tea, and I'm weaponizing it, and it takes 2 minutes. However, I'm tired of making her perfect tea while she doesn't even put any effort into mine. Am I the idiot? People are going to get onto you with, it's just sugar, but I get your point. It's the effort. You take the time to remember what she likes and do that if you're making for both of you and she doesn't return the favour. It feels lopsided to you, hence the question. You are not the idiot. Exactly, they've been dating for a year now. It's not like it's some complicated Starbucks order. It's 1 spoon of sugar. I'd honestly start making the tea, but putting 1 sugar in her tea as well. If she needs help remembering your preference for something as simple as tea, why should you go to the trouble of it? It's a simple lack of respect. If he wasn't British, I would have suggested that as well, but he's probably too damn polite for stooping to the level the rest of the world would applaud. Canadians probably being the exception. As an American who used to drink sweet tea, I cannot relate. LOL, we drink tea syrup in this area. No sugar? Get out. OP, you can have a tea war if you like, but the real question here is a fairly fundamental relationship question. Do you want to remain in a relationship with this person? I'm actually only 29 and I felt like my sister, niece's mom, did some pretty good salesmanship to all of our siblings, there are 8 of us, and made everyone promise to gift my niece $1,000 when she graduated high school. I can come up with the money, but it also means that I won't be able to book a vacation that I've been wanting to take for a long time. I was okay with that because the implication was that money would be used for tuition and living expenses. I finally saw my niece yesterday with the full intention of giving her the check. I asked her if she was excited to start college in the fall and she said she wasn't going. Okay, that's a surprise, so I asked her what she planned on doing. She literally said, "Oh, nothing." And I said, "Oh, you mean nothing like getting a job?" And she said, "No, literally nothing." I think she tried to jump past the awkwardness by asking me if I wanted to see the design her boyfriend made for her tattoo. It was elaborate, to say the least. It was tacky as heck, to say the most. It looked exactly like a tattoo a 21-year-old dating an 18-year-old would design to mark his territory. She then blurted out that my $1,000 was all that she was waiting on before she could start. I didn't mention that I had the check and I didn't give it to her. After I left, I called my sister and I asked her if she knew what Vera's plans were. She said yes. I told her that I was really sorry, but I was not contributing. She accused me of breaking a promise. I accused her of not being honest with us. She said I was a witch. I said to call me back if Vera decides to be productive, then I'll come through with the gift. We said, "Screw you," and simultaneously hung up on each other. Am I the idiot? Edit, if I wasn't clear, the tattoo is $8,500. She's supposedly driving to San Francisco to go to a very popular artist. It will go from the back of her neck down her left side and to the bottom of her foot. She wants to spend $8,500 on a lame tattoo designed by her boyfriend to mark her body as his, and her mother is not only going along with this, but is happy to scam her siblings out of $1,000 each to make it happen? That's some messed up crap going down. An $8,500 tattoo at 18 years old. Holy crap. Not the idiot. Go on the trip you thought you wouldn't be able to do. Damn, not only is the neck pretty rough to get done, but ribs are one of the worst places and most easily messed up bits because of ribs. Any artist will agree it's probably one of the worst locations to do. Also, sole of her foot. I've got a lot and even I wouldn't dare go near my feet. A reputable artist would be extremely wary of doing something so massive, especially something designed by a boyfriend on someone so young, particularly if she doesn't already have multiple pieces. Get your siblings together immediately for a family discussion, minus your sister and niece. It has to be before they gift the money. This may be the crux of the matter. What exactly did your sister sell you on? Did she imply that the money would be used for educational purposes? If so, that is your out. An 18-year-old should not have full-body branding by the boyfriend, especially as he may not even be around by the time the final work is done. Please do talk to them. Hopefully none of them have already given the money under those false pretenses. I would be equally upset if I was trying to help a family member get a jump start and instead funded something completely different than the original task. Also, tell sister that you will put the $1,000 in a trust fund for when Do Nothing Becky needs laser tattoo removal treatments. This happened over a year ago, but this situation has still affected my family and my mom won't stop getting on my husband's and mine's case even now. My father had diabetes and his health was deteriorating fast. He was in the hospital and then got out. After he got out, he was weak and was trying to rest at home. I come from a big family with a lot of siblings. One of my sisters travels all through Europe and is frequently moving. I'm in the US and I haven't been back to Europe in over a decade, but I talk a lot on the phone with them. We'll call my sister Anna. Anna suddenly moved into my parents' house with her husband and 8 children for an unknown period of time and for reasons no one knows. Well, she had nowhere else to go apparently. My mom is the closest with her and always sympathetic towards her, so she's fine with her being there. My dad was exhausted coming home from the hospital just a day or two ago. My husband was talking to him on the phone and heard all these kids screaming and making noises. He asks if everything is okay. My dad just said he's tired, overwhelmed, can't take it anymore and just wants to rest. My dad talks to my brother, who lives there, and talks about the environment in the house. My brother said it was a disaster and pretty noisy since the kids were running everywhere. My mom, however, said that it's not a big deal and not that noisy. We all just had a feeling my dad was going to die any day now, and these were his last moments alive. My husband and I felt bad for my dad and thought he deserved peace in his last moments. My husband asked to speak to my mother and she said, "No, not now." So my husband asked to speak to Anna's husband. He said, "If you don't leave this house by 7 p.m, then I'll pay for a rental home where he can rest his final days. It's not okay for this man to work all his life, and he can't even die peacefully in his own home. I'll be calling back to make sure you've left." They tried to talk back and downplay everything, but my husband really put his foot down and ultimately they left. After about 2 days, my father had to go back to the hospital and died. My mother is still upset with me and my husband that he kicked Anna and her family out. She still comments to my husband and acts like we were really out of line and rude. I want to add that Anna was and is still building a new home near my parents' house, so they have some money. Am I the idiot for letting my husband kick my sister's family out of my parents' house? Edit. I just want to add, since there's a little confusion, that this was our last resort since it's pretty big, but my mom didn't want to speak to all of us and always sides with Anna. She was babysitting the kids and ignored my father, so he was pretty much by himself after coming out of the ICU. But my dad was so weak and was mentally done. When my husband inquired about Anna's husband, he said, "Don't worry, it will all work itself out." You are the idiot. It was not your husband's place to dictate what happens in other people's homes. You crossed the line. And how do you know that the stress of your sister and the children moving out didn't hurt your father in his dying moments? Why would he want his end of life filled with family strife? Your inappropriate actions may have caused him more hurt, you fools. Not only that, you hurt the living people who are the ones there with him in his dying hours. You caused more stress for your mom, siblings, and nieces and nephews than necessary. Wow, how selfish of you. Imagine not being able to cook your own meals after a lifetime of cooking, not being able to drive a car, sign your name, write or wash your body, or convey your thoughts clearly. Your once strong body is a shell of itself. You have trouble walking or picking things up. Now imagine how exhausting that must feel day in and day out. Then add 8 noisy young children and an unsupportive wife to that scenario when you're just trying to survive. You and your husband are not the idiots. At least you tried to give your father some peace in his final days. Sorry for your loss. Agreed, your husband did the right thing. I've dealt with serious health issues. I can't imagine having a bunch of kids around. When you're suffering, all you want is to be left alone in peace. Your mom probably needed their presence to distract her, that's my guess. Regardless, all you can do now is to say, "Yes, Mom, we know. You've told us multiple times," and change the subject.